Hey guys, my name is Jason with Mount Baker Mining and Metals, and right now I'm standing in Death Valley, and it's 117 degrees outside. But we're on our way up to the Cerro Gordo ghost town to see our friend Brent and check out some of his mines. All right, we made it. We are here at Cerro Gordo with Brent Underwood.
Yep, thanks for coming up.
Yeah, oh, thank you so much for having us.
Of course.
No, this is really fun to come up and see your place. And can you give us a little bit of an introduction, what we're going to be doing while we're up here, and what the plan is?
I mean, hopefully we're going to be finding some ore, maybe some slag, and refining it. You know, back in the day, this used to be such a big silver, lead, and zinc mine that there's still a lot around. And as I've been exploring the mines, I keep coming across it, and then that's kind of where what I know what to do with it ends, right? And so I'm hoping to take it from, you know, rock form, mineral form, and maybe refine it from there.
Yeah.
So I think we'll maybe go through some mines, look around, maybe go over to an old slag pile, pick up some stuff, and send it back to you.
Yeah.
And then let you do your thing with it.
Yeah, cool. And we've been talking through email and phone, and one of your big goals is to refine some silver out where you can make a medallion or a charm or
that's the hope. Yeah, I'd love to be able to get like enough of the galena to make some silver that I'll then give to a jeweler and maybe make like a, you know, even like something like that size, you know, like a little pendant or something like that.
Yeah.
So that way maybe I can give it to one of the fans or something like that.
Yeah, cool.
That'd be really cool.
And so I mean, if we could get half an ounce or an ounce of silver, you'd be excited.
That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Huge.
Awesome.
That'd be
awesome.
Huge, yeah.
Well, maybe we can start with a little tour of the town, and you can give us some history. And
yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, and we'll start there.
Let's do it.
Cool. All right, let's go.
So these days, this is the museum.
Okay.
So anytime I go into the mines, I find anything, I try to put it in here because I just think that like the history of this place is why I'm here. You know, it's why I'm interested in the place.
Yeah, sure.
And so I think that each piece that I find is part of that history. And so if I'm in the mines, if I'm using the backhoe, no matter what I'm doing, I end up putting it in here.
Cool.
And so, yeah, it's probably my favorite place because it kind of, each of the pieces that when I see it, it reminds me of the adventure to find it, you know?
There you go.
Oh, yeah, when I was down at the 700 level, we found that and this type of stuff.
Yeah, cool.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's take a look.
And this part of it used to be, so the general store was in the front and there's a butcher shop in the back. And so back in the day, I think we even have a photo around here. You know, the miners would come in here, get their goods when they needed it. And then in the back was a butcher shop. And I realized that because one day we were using the backhoe out the back. I started digging and there's tons of animal bones, you know, all chopped up animal bones.
Yeah,
and so that was a pretty good giveaway that, you know, that's what they were using the back there for.
And so these guys would sell stuff to the miners, flour and pickaxes and hard hats and stuff. Okay.
Yep.
Canned goods. And then in the back they had their butcher shop. And who are these two guys on the wall? Is this the two guys you were talking about?
Yes. So the guy on the left is Bell Shop, and he's the one that really brought Cerro Gordo to its heyday. So the town was established in 1865 by a guy named Pablo Flores. And he was a Mexican prospector that came up, and he was using the old like vasos, like clay adobe kilns, you know, like he was making really small batches. And I guess the story goes that Belshaw saw some of the silver that he was producing here in San Francisco. So he came and he looked around and he realized, if this guy's getting this amount in quality out of these old kilns, like what could like proper investment do?
Yeah.
So he built a smelter here that we can go to later.
Okay.
And so he built the first proper, you know, big furnace here. And then he bought half interest in the Union Mine, which is the main mine here. And then he ended up owning just everything. He owned the road. He had a toll booth on the road. He owned the refinery. He owned the mine. He had a part ownership in the freighting company.
Okay.
And so the guy to his right is a guy named Remy Nadeau. And Remy is known as like the king of the desert freighters was his name. Because the big thing back in the day is like just getting it from here to LA, you know? Like,
oh, sure.
It's pretty hard these days even.
Yeah.
So he would run the 20 mule teams. And
okay.
So him, Belshaw, and Beaudry, who owned the general store, made the Cerro Gordo Freighting Company.
Okay.
And so they ran all of the mules back and forth all day. And something that blows my mind is like, so at its peak, Cerro Gordo had about 4,000 residents.
Oh, yeah.
And at that time, Los Angeles had 6,500 residents.
Oh, no way.
So not that much more, right?
Whoa.
And the demand of Cerro Gordo, they needed a port city to bring in all the supplies. I mean, look around, there's not like they weren't growing anything here, you know.
Sure.
So they're bringing all the supplies from Los Angeles. So from my understanding, the demand of Cerro Gordo forced Los Angeles to develop quicker than it was going to.
Really?
It kind of bloomed it into the town that it became. And for me, it's interesting because like these days, everybody knows Los Angeles, you know.
Sure.
Almost nobody knows, you know,
Cerro Gordo. Yeah.
And so those two guys are like, you know, kind of very responsible for that back in the day. And then that photo, so there's like two eras at Cerro Gordo. And there was, the first one was 1865 to about 1885. It was silver and lead. And so they were taking out the Galena, making the silver, making the lead. And then that went bust, and the town kind of sat dormant for a little while. And a guy named Gordon came, whose house you guys are staying in.
Yeah, okay.
And Gordon came, and he realized that everybody was ignoring zinc. He started mining zinc for another 20 years. And that's him down at the 900-foot level of the mine.
The guy with the hat on?
With the suit, yeah.
Oh, with the suit, yeah, going into the mines.
You imagine the guy in the suit wasn't working down there, obviously. He just posed for a photo and probably got out.
Yeah, yeah.
What's crazy is, like, so if you go down there, this sign next to the miner's head is still down there.
No way.
Down there, and it's cool to, like, that connection to history is what kind of gets me excited, you know?
Yeah.
To go down there and see some of these.
Yeah, so this is like 19 teens.
Yeah, that was like probably, somewhere between 1910 and probably 1920.
And you go down there and it still looks almost exactly like that.
Pretty similar, yeah. There's still ore quartz down there.
Wow.
There's a lot of collapse, you know, like any mine probably.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But those signs are still there. And it just gets me really excited to learn about that and then kind of piece together the history, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I like to do.
Cool. All right, we got your little homegrown museum here, which is totally awesome. Lots more to find, you say. You're just finding stuff every day when you're digging and looking around. So, cool. Where to next?
We'll go to a place that you may know very well, an assay office.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
and
cool.
So we'll go over where they used to do that up the road and check that out.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Okay, where are we headed?
This is the assay office, or the assay building.
Cool.
This is the only one that remains. I think there used to be a couple of them here, but I'll take you inside.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
A lot of this probably looks pretty familiar to you, or at least some
of this is wild, man. Yeah, this is cool.
One of the old rock drills.
Yeah.
Some Ingersoll Rand.
Yeah, an old Ingersoll Rand drill. And so this is like one of the original ones. Now or at least the ones I used that were probably 40s or 50s vintage, had a pneumatic leg, so it was all driven by air.
Oh, right.
But this one, they wedged it between the hanging wall and the footwall and like lined it up, and then they started going. So this is crazy to see.
So it would have been right up against the face, right? Just
Yep. And then you okay, that hole's done. Then you'd adjust it down and drill another one, or have to swivel. It was a man killer for sure.
Yeah, when we go up to the Hoist house where the main union mine is, we have a massive Ingersoll Rand air compressor too. Just, I mean, the size of this building. Almost.
That just supplied air down to the miners. Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is pretty cool. These were the original, like, kind of base bars, you know, describing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's where the size of the ones that they used to make.
So this is one of them.
Yeah. And we have one of the original molds. Yeah.
Check this out. So this is, you were saying this is like the base metal doré they would make. Mm-hmm. So this is mostly lead. It's heavy as can be, but it's mostly lead with a little bit of silver in it, and then they would take it down to Los Angeles to refine?
San Francisco to refine it.
Oh, San Francisco to refine it. Okay. And they did some refining here, or they just pour the base?
They would do some refining here, but from my understanding, it was too cost prohibitive to do it all here. So they would just, I believe, just take the Galena, get it down to silver and lead only, and then ship it off. And then separate it in San Francisco, and the silver would go to the mint, and then the lead they would sell wherever else.
Okay, I gotta put this down.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's
cool. Oh, not break your thing there.
And so as I was, so the Cerro Gordo used to be a collection of a lot of different mines. So there's one called the Ignacio. So this is one of the original molds that they found in the dirt down there. You know, so those bars were obviously a different size.
Bullion mold. Yeah. Wow. So they used to make bars out of these, pour it in, and then dump it.
And then bigger ones too, like that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and you got all these little crucibles here. Are those the ones you used, or are those?
Yeah, I used the crucibles from here and the little Piles from here as well.
Oh, nice.
All the stuff that I found here at Cerro Gordo. Like this was me kind of experimenting the other day.
Oh, cool.
And then so I was using like even the the stuff for the flux I found here, like the old borax and the potassium nitrate, and then the lead oxide I was using.
Yeah, cool. So that was all here. You're just like cobbling together what they used.
Because I tried to like get in the mentality of what they might have been like back in the day.
Yeah.
And so that was a fun even trying to use, like this old scale that was here.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah. That is wild. And so this is where, so an assay office is where the miners would bring samples of the ore they were mining, and they could take a little tiny sample of it and refine it and figure out how much silver or gold or precious metals or lead. They would essentially figure out the value of the ore. And so this is cool. I bet this place was hopping back in the day.
Yeah.
Just cranking through, and I bet it was a pretty hazardous place to work, like lead fumes and all the stuff coming off the ore.
And I heard that a lot of times outside the door too, a lot of like investors and different people would want to hear about the next big strike,
Oh yeah.
And so they just mingle about. And what's also kind of interesting positioning is the building right next to this that you saw as we walked in was a brothel. So I don't know about the location of the brothel and the assay office next to each other. Like you strike it rich, then you go over that, or you don't strike it rich and you go over that. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Depending on the mood you're in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting layout that they chose to use.
Do you have any idea the cost of an assay back then?
So from my understanding, I read about it, and like I think that it was $1. That's
Okay.
what I heard.
Okay.
And then the assayer. Again, this is just from my understanding out of a book. Like they could do like 10 to 12 a day if they were like cranking.
Oh, okay.
And so you figure that's pretty good because the miners were getting here at Cerro Gordo, it was a $4 a day camp. So they would get $4 for 12-hour shifts.
Oh, wow.
Underground.
Okay.
And $3 a day if they were above ground.
Okay.
And so the assayer was doing pretty good, if he could
crank out 10, 12
yeah,
a
exactly.
day. Yeah.
Keep going all day.
Well, and probably for comparison, back then, I mean, even I know the gold price, but the gold was $20 an ounce.
Right.
And so, I mean, a 20th of an ounce every assay, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty good wages. So, yeah, the assayers, and a lot of times you mentioned it down below with the general store and the miners. A lot of times the people who made money wasn't the miners or wasn't the prospectors. It was the guys that were supplying the services. Right. It was guys selling the shovels, doing the assays, owning the brothel, whatever it was. But yeah, so there's a lot of probably a lot of stories like that where these people came in and made it big, not by mining the silver.
Right.
So,
and I heard eventually like the assay office, similar to that. So originally at Cerro Gordo, there was tons of individual claims. And so all of the individual miners would take them into here to see if their claim was worth it. But as Belshaw and Beaudry started compiling all the claims, he became not like an independent assayer. The company employed him to assay the different levels of their mine.
Oh, I see.
So he wasn't doing like independent assays for other people then. He was just, hey, what's the 200 level looking like? So they fully employed him just to do their assays all day long.
Oh, okay, I see.
Which is kind of interesting as well.
Yeah, that's cool. Right on. Brent was telling us earlier that this here is the assay office, and then right next door, this used to be the brothel here. And I don't know, there's 5-6 doors there. And in here you can still see the rusty old bed frames, and looks like this one had 2 beds in it. 3 rooms, I guess. That's something to put their dresses on, I guess. And then here is kind of a museum piece of all their powder boxes they've found in the mines. But man, what a crazy place to work and live.
This is the beginning of the tramway. The tramway came in the zinc era. So Gordon is the one that put that up. Before that, they were just using mules to bring it all up and down.
Oh, wow.
And so that, like, the main mines there would come over, go there, get dumped into buckets, and then sent all the way down to Keeler on the aerial tramway.
Oh, yeah.
And if you can see that hillside there, you see the notch in the hill?
Yeah, where they dug out. Yeah.
So that was one of the transfer stations. So there was a big structure there where the cable would connect to. And the cable would keep going down from there. And these days, as you walk down, you can still see the cable along the road some places.
Where it's laying on the ground now. Yeah.
And so from my understanding, when it went bust, they sold a lot of the stations that were easily accessible to a different mine over in Nevada, and then they just cut the line and it just fell where it fell.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's still a lot of the cable all the way down there.
Yeah. Wow.
There's more of the,
oh, yeah. More of the steel and the... Yeah. So back in the day when it was single jack, they would have stuff like this, or I don't know if this is one maybe. That looks like it might be a drill, but they'd be guys down there just hammering, right? And then when they started introducing air, they would use stuff like this, where it was a carbide bit, and the steel was hollow, so there's a hole running all the way down, and the drill would inject water to control the dust. And so that was like a huge revolution in mining technology, because when you're single jacking, you're down there, between the silicosis and the lead and all the base metals, it's like you're just literally killing yourself. Yeah. Whereas this one, it was pneumatic, so it was and so it would hit. And then on the pullback, it would turn the steel, and it would hit and turn the steel and hit, and it goes really right. So it goes fast, and you're pushing water down to the end, and so there's water. It's keeping all the dust down. Cool. So that was like big deal for the miners. Yeah. And like you said, none of these miners, they weren't down there making hundreds of dollars a day. They were workers, right. And so it's like,
and that's what I try to think too. Like so. Before I had Cerro Gordo, I used to just lump miners into like one group, right? But at a big camp like this, I imagine they all had very specific jobs, right? Like one was a mucker, one was the driller, one was the blaster. So miners is almost like a misnomer, right? Because there's so many jobs within mining.
Absolutely. It's like calling somebody a farmer.
Right.
Oh, you're a farmer, whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. No, I'm just
Yeah, right.
I drive the combine or whatever. But
sure.
Same thing. Yeah. I mean, and each one of those jobs had a different level of prestige, right? I mean, there was the miner, or there's like the drift miner was better than the stope miner. And then like the lowest of the low, and this is where I started, it was like nipper. They call it nippers. And it was like the kid, they're like, go get me some more steel. Oh, and run over and run down the drift, or I need a new light, or I'm out of this, and you're just nipping for the miner.
Okay.
And that's a lot of times that's how the young miners got started, is they'd work for a miner as a kid, and they'd learn the trade, right? They'd work for him for 3-5 years, whatever, and then it'd be like, all right, you're a miner now, get in there and start drilling, and so it was kind of an informal apprentice journeyman kind of thing going on. So it was cool. But you're right, absolutely right. It wasn't just miners worked in the mine. You had hoistmen, you had muckers, you had all that stuff. All the specific jobs. Yeah. Cool. Amazing. That's wild that's still standing.
Yeah. I walked out on it. It's still somewhat structured.
Oh, did you walk out on it?
It's too tempting to not.
Yeah, right.
But there used to be so if you look at old photos, there used to be a huge building around it. So that was all enclosed.
Oh,
that
sure.
was inside of a building.
Sure.
And then over the years, like a lot of the buildings here, it's just disappeared, probably reused for other wood, different places.
Right.
And now that's what we got left. But
if
you want, we can go up towards one of the old furnaces, see some of the old slag, and then even jump into one of the mines.
Yeah.
Check that out too.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. Okay. So the mine up there is the main Union mine, and the Union mine is the reason Cerro Gordo is here. It's the reason that this area is so successful. There's 30 miles of workings just off of that mine.
Okay.
And there's the hoist up there, but originally this was the original entrance. This was how they got into the mine.
To the Union mine?
Into the Union, yeah.
Whoa.
And this was collapsed as of like 3 months ago. It was totally collapsed.
But I always study the maps at night. I'm always looking at like where stuff should be.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of cribbing here, some old rock. And then I was like, that has to be it. And so Dave was up here, buddy with a big excavator. We started digging. And sure enough, yeah, it just revealed itself.
No way.
Yeah, it's really exciting because you're digging, you're like, I don't know if there's anything there. And then that portal kind of revealed itself. So, oh.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's like collapsed not too far back in that way.
Oh, wow.
But this was like the original entrance they would have used in like 1865 would have been this entrance.
Okay.
And then they sank the shaft, I think 2 years later in 1867, they sank the main big shaft up there.
Yeah.
So we'll go check that out. But it's kind of, this is where it all began up here, you know?
Wow, cool.
Kind of
That's
exciting.
cool. So they were tunneling in,
Yeah.
hit the deposit.
Because they were trying to get to the deposit over on this side was the Union Chimney. So you see up there that like kind of they overstoked eventually up there.
Oh, okay.
And then it collapsed in.
Oh,
so that's
yeah.
where that hole is from.
Okay.
You can see kind of it lines up with that pretty good.
Yeah, sure.
And so there's a big deposit that went from there down about 700 feet. And then up over that way ways, there was one that went from the surface down to 1,100 feet.
Wow.
And so they sank the shaft in between the two to kind of get access at both of them.
Oh, I see.
And so this was, before they needed to go to different levels, this is how they were accessing it.
Wow. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Yeah, rabbit warren.
Yeah. But again, to your point, like, so this is the hoist house. This is where the main Union mine is. It's where the shaft goes 900 feet straight down.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we still have the hoist that still works. You know?
Oh, no way,
Back in the
really?
day, yeah. that
Oh,
we
geez.
take down occasionally. Because the only source of water at Cerro Gordo is 700 feet down to the mine. At the 700-foot level, water's seeping in from the mountain.
Yeah.
And so they created a small sump down there that provides, it replenishes at about 300 to 500 gallons a day. And
Oh, so not very much.
Not very much at all.
Yeah,
And so, but any water up here is like very valuable to us.
of
And
course.
so I think I've gone down in that a dozen times trying to fix the water. Because you have the water over here, then the pump's maybe 50 yards from it, then the shaft's maybe 50 yards from that. Then you have to pump it directly up 700 feet.
Oh, that's a big.
A lot of head.
That's a lot of head.
And so the reason I started going down in the mine was to try to fix the water.
Oh, okay.
But now I go down there just to explore and check it out.
So back in the day, did they use the water for the town?
They were. So originally in the 1860s, there was a spring about 2 miles from here.
Oh.
And they would pipe it in from the spring. And then that spring went out, so they used another spring. And that spring started to go out. And then around the same time, they drained Owens Lake, the massive lake below us.
Oh, right. Yep.
So
yep.
I think that messed with the water table or something because all the springs went dry.
Yeah.
So for a period of time, they were bringing all the water up on mules. Something like 40,000 gallons a day. Because
40,000 gallons.
think about how like water intensive mining is.
Yeah.
Plus they were smelting and refining it here. Plus the guys living here. So just like all day long, mules coming and going in
Oh
water.
my gosh.
Which
That would have been a traffic jam down there just
Yeah.
for the water.
just the water
Not
alone.
to mention all the bullion going and people
Right.
coming. Wow.
And so then when they found the water source, I mean, that's 500 more gallons you don't have to bring up every day, I guess.
Yeah,
so they
yeah.
started pumping it.
Yeah.
But the pump down there's ancient, so we replaced the pump, replaced everything, but I haven't perfected it yet.
Yeah.
Still
Well, you've got
working
like
on it.
all this head you got to
Yeah.
pump up, but you hardly have any gallons to do
Right,
it with. I mean, it's
exactly.
like the weirdest.
And the old pipe was galvanized, but
Oh.
it's frozen and split in 100 places. So I put new pecs all the way up, so there's a little bit of give.
Oh, wow.
So that was even a process itself, like going down in the cage, then slowly stop, and then securing the pecs, go down a little more, stop, and then that took forever.
Wow.
I'll show you.
Yeah, let's go
what
and take a look.
it
Yeah.
looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is where all the fun happens. This is the cage that still goes down. You need to look at it from the
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's just kind of angles.
So that's the cage.
Yeah.
So this
This is
is it. We're up there. You get in there.
yeah. This is the cage that goes 900 feet down. You can see various experiments to not try to have to use the cage. I've roped down some parts of it,
Oh wow.
but roping with 900 foot of exposure is not fun.
I bet.
This is kind of terrifying. So this is it. This is what we saw down, and it goes up, over, and then the hoist is over there.
So so the hoist or the skip or whatever you call it,
Yeah.
how you can fit what, 5 guys in there and you drop them. Stand in there. You stand in there for scale? I don't know
5
how.
guys will be pushing it. We've only taken, and you see like rocks. So we've only taken down 3 at the very most.
Okay.
Back in the day, you figure some of the guys could get in from the portals that weren't this, before they collapsed.
Yeah.
Maybe walk in that way. But you can see the tracks, so the ore carts would roll onto this.
Yeah.
Bring it up, roll off over there. They probably had guys sitting in the ore carts, just because if you look at the volume of waste rock, and then you look at this cage, you start thinking like, how many trips up and down did that have to take?
Yeah.
And back in the day, apparently it used to go a lot faster. These days, for me to go down to the 700-foot level, it takes like 45 minutes.
45 minutes to write it down.
It's very slow.
How do you communicate with the hoistman up here?
Right. So they used to have a wired system. Unfortunately, these days, if you look at this is our system. We have.
Hold on. Let's see what we got here. This is your. One stop.
So that's lights. That's flashing lights.
Up to the hoistman.
So a guy has to stand over the whole time looking down and trying to see how many lights we do. And then because it's very loud when the hoist is going.
Sure.
And he communicates with the hoist guy with radios up here. But the radios, they don't like, I think, the heavy metal on the ground.
Oh.
So once we get 400 feet down.
You lost it.
Yeah, we pretty much lose communication. So it can be very tense moments when, is that 4 or 3 lights?
And you're 600 feet down in the hole. And obviously it's straight down, right? Because of the hoist. So you can see, you can still see.
You can still see down. It's just the most terrifying experience I had. So like, if you look here, these dog ears are supposed to engage. If the cable were to break, these are supposed to clamp into this guide rail and stop the cage right where it's at.
In theory.
Safety. Yeah, in theory, exactly. And one day I was riding down and I was kind of in this. I was like going, and then the cage stopped, and I thought it was because the hoist operator had stopped it for some reason. And I was like, whatever, what's going on? And then I saw the cable start going down past the cage. No. And the cage had been going too fast, and these had engaged, and these had clamped into the guide rail.
Really? So it works.
They still work. But the thought of being dangling in this cage while these are connected to a 150-year-old wood or however old it is isn't a fun feeling. So that's...
It's just crazy that, it's so well preserved. It's so dry. Yeah. All the wood is in perfect shape.
Yeah.
Whereas back up in Washington, we get so much rain. This would be a compost pile.
Right.
This would just be gone.
Yeah, it's like we're in the high desert. It's a desert here. It's in the mountains, and so that's that. I'll show you some of the stuff over here. This is the facts that I had to put in all that.
Oh yeah.
All the way down. This is me practicing different roping things.
Did you pretty much have to teach yourself how to rope?
Yeah.
I'm not a rope guy, so
Yeah, it's a similar thing. I started here, just going with 20 feet of exposure. And then the very first time that I really got into it, there's a shaft called the Newtown mine over there that it's a vertical shaft and no ladders, no nothing for 300 feet. But from my conversation with people, nobody had been down there since they stopped working it.
Oh yeah.
It's I have to go down there,
Yeah.
And the thing is rappelling down is fairly easy. You're kind of down. Then going back up, pulling yourself up a rope for 300 feet is a pain in the ass.
Quite exhausting.
Yeah, it's very exhausting.
Yeah, at 8,500 feet.
It'll wind you.
Wow. Crazy.
There's the air compressor I was talking about.
Oh yeah, look at that. Wow. This is the craziest thing. No, this should be like a museum piece. And it is, right?
Yeah.
This is what you're doing. But it still has the huge leather belt on it.
Yeah. And even getting this thing up here. You came up the road.
Oh yeah.
Imagine getting that up here.
And it came up with mules, I'm assuming, or
yeah, with mules.
And then bringing in pieces or on sleds or something.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. And here's the hoist.
Yeah. You can walk up into the seat if you want to explain. So we've added some stuff to try to make it a little bit more modern. So we added this hydraulic system to assist with everything.
You added it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. You do have a lot of projects going on.
Yeah. And then obviously we oil and everything. And that gauge tells you how far down you are, which as you're looking at it, it's not the most precise thing that you've ever seen.
Right. Yeah.
And so.
But those are the levels, 86, 200, 400. Okay.
Correct. 550, 700, 900. And there is an 1150 level that they went kind of like a horizontally to the 1150 level. But
like a winds?
Yeah, but the shaft didn't go there. You have to go to the 900 and then go over and then go down.
Oh yeah.
Kind of to get to it.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So you're over there in the cage.
Yeah.
There's a guy watching.
Yeah.
You go down.
Yeah.
Scotty's watching.
Yeah.
Johnny's running the thing, and you're flashing lights to him, and he's flashing.
And usually there's maybe another person just because it's so loud to relay the messages if he can't hear what's going on. But yeah, it's got to be the guy operating this. I mean, literally has your life in his hands. And so he needs to be watching this cable for anything, for slack, for any type of. Sometimes it starts shaking because like something's going on.
Yeah.
So he needs to lock it down. And so he's watching over there to see if they're watching down the hole to see if I'm relaying anything up to them.
Yeah.
Because occasionally the guide rails, so the cage is just dangling on the cable, but the guide rails keep it from spinning around in circles.
Yes.
So, but the guide rails over the time have like bowed in at places and kind of gone like this. So the cage gets stuck sometimes. And so we always bring like a Sawzall with us to like cut off part of the guide rail to let it go past sometimes.
Yeah. If you get
which is terrifying because that means somebody has to like attach into a harness, go below the cage,
What?
and like saw off piece of the guide rail and then get back into the cage. So it's
How did you teach yourself how to use this?
My buddy operates cranes. That's all he does.
Oh, okay.
For BWP.
Okay.
So he came up and we dry ran it a few times. We put 300 pounds of weight in it, just ran it up and down a couple times dry. Nobody in it.
With a rabbit on top to see if like.
Yeah.
Where's the canary?
Yeah. And so he figured it out, and then my buddy owns the auto parts store in Lone Pine, and he figured out this whole thing, the hydraulic system.
What?
And so it's very much a learning on the job situation. But these days we've probably taken it 50 times. And so we have a better system. So even for the levels that you're down, what we did is, you see this pointer, like we spray paint the cable at each level.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So they can line it up a little better.
Yep.
And so that way they have a pretty good idea of where we're at.
Yep. We used to do that underground too.
Did you?
Yeah, with our slushers. You're going back around the corner, you can't see, you tie a little ribbon or you tie something so okay, I'm at the back.
Right.
So yeah, the classic stuff.
So it's something like exactly similar thing here, and it works.
This is just. So did that electric motor used to run this?
Mm-hmm. And so I think it used to be a lot faster because I can't imagine that much waste rock having to take 45 minutes going. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, right.
With that many people down there too.
Yeah.
And so I believe back in the day they used that, and then they transferred to this at some point. I mean, even if you look at like these brakes, they're like wood.
Yeah, wooden shoes, huh? Wow, look at all this thing. So who runs the hoist? Is it your crane buddy?
Usually my buddy Cody.
Okay.
Runs the hoist. Johnny has learned how to run it, so if need be, he can fill in. But it's not one of those jobs where you're fully comfortable with just the fill in,
Right. Johnny's in. I'm not going down. Yeah.
You kind of want someone who knows what they're doing.
And it's all looks like it's lubed up. I mean, it's not rusty. It's not.
Yeah.
And this.
Pour the oil into these.
Pour the big looks like probably Babbitt bearings. And you just pour some oil down there and it's probably good enough. And
give it a go.
The cable looks like it's in great shape. Yeah. So how many guys, like at the height, do you think worked down in the hole?
Like
hundreds?
Probably a couple hundreds, yeah. And I think back then, though, if you look at the map, there was probably 4 portals out of the mine that weren't this shaft, right? So a lot of them would come and go from those.
Okay.
Those have all every single one of them has collapsed since.
Oh.
I've tried to dig them out with the backhoe and stuff, but I think a lot of the guys would go through those, but then also this, and I have found on the property before, like the miners' tags, with a little hole in the middle. I think they would put on like a pegboard to let you know who's down there and who's not. So I found those around, which is cool.
Yeah.
So I imagine it was pretty busy. 24 hours a day it was running.
Yeah.
And the thought of how loud and noisy and hectic it must have been back in here back in the day.
But you can imagine, like after a week straight running this, you're just ding ding
dong.
You just know.
Second nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, then over here, you like you said, had the air compressor. Then before that, they had the I think it was the furnace. They were bringing wood probably for the steam. So you go behind here.
Whoa, like a big boiler.
Yeah, boiler. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Whoa.
So
there's no wood up here. They had to bring all the wood in. So they were just shoving this full of wood, making steam to run the hoist and the stuff.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, these days this is kind of just storage experiment. Oh, this is the little kiln I was trying to use to do all of my experiments. It's a nightmare, but that's a bunch of the crushed up Galena in there.
Cool.
I crushed up, but failed experiments. That's that, and then actually I'll show you that chipmunk crusher.
Yeah, let's check it out. Oh yeah.
This is our makeshift gym that nobody has ever used.
It's your what?
Our makeshift gym that nobody has ever used.
Yeah, okay. Nobody's ever used it.
We had good intentions, but like all gym memberships. So this thing.
Oh, this is a beauty here. Yep. Bronze chipmunk.
And let's say somebody was getting ready to use it again, you know?
Yeah.
I've never used this thing, but my understanding, I guess this crushes rock.
It crushes rock. So you put the rock down here. And the belts would run, from here to the electric thing. But if you look down there, that thing just goes forward and backward.
Oh, right.
And so you put rock down in there, and it just goes, and it, as it gets crushed, it falls lower until it goes out that way. I used the university I went to school in had this exact crusher, and I used this crusher to crush rock samples.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. It had a big cast iron jaw dies, and these were the little lab crusher back in the day.
Okay,
but that's cool. You have one.
That's what we have.
Oh, and look at this thing! Whoa! Get this, Dave. Look at this. This is a little hammer mill. And so there's a plate somewhere that should go on this, but you drop rock down here, and these hammers would go around really fast.
Okay.
And they probably had a sucker, a vacuum, so it would stay in there until the vacuum could suck it out when it got small enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like a real crude little hammer crusher thing that's pretty wild. Sounds like it needs some oil for the grease. That's cool. So yeah, they must have had like a little lab up here at one time.
Yeah, they were experimenting around with different stuff.
So this, as Stacy was saying, is a shaker table.
Okay.
And what this did is it's a concentrator. Oh, it's on rollers. That's hilarious. So you would have a box here with a bunch of holes in the front of the box, and you'd run water down the shaker table, and it would wash off all the light materials, so all the quartz and all the calcite or whatever the gang was. But you'd put your crushed ore in here, and anything that's really dense, like galena or gold or silver or copper sulfides, would get in these grooves, and they'd come across, and the table. Let's see if you can still see that. So it would do this, all day long, boom, 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 boom. And so all the heavy minerals would bump their way across the table, all the way out these grooves, and you'd catch your concentrate.
Right.
And this was like the super high grade.
Yeah.
The middlings would come down here. This was like, there might have been some fine stuff, but they'd come down here and catch it here. And then all this was like the tailings. Yeah. And this is some sort of like improvised sluice box with riffles. Yeah. So like if any heavy minerals got off this end, it the last gasp to catch them. Yeah. But yeah, so you could crush it in the bronze chipmunk. Right. You would put it through the hammer mill to break it up real fine, and then you could come run it on the shaker table. But that is just all day long. Boom, 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 boom. And it's a wood deck. It's a wood deck that someone's routed grooves into. And so you could concentrate out ore that way.
I'll have to get going again.
Yeah, you have a whole setup here. All right, so we're going to go back into some of the underground workings now. So if you want to see some of the underground workings and stuff, check out Ghost Town Living with Brent on his channel on YouTube. So we'll get in here and we'll see what we can find. Yeah, there's actually a lot of cool air blowing out of here.
Yeah, there's a lot. Because there's some ventilation shafts above us.
Uh-huh. And this, what's the name of this one again?
This is the Bullion.
The Bullion Portal.
Yep.
The Bullion Tunnel.
Yep.
Okay, I'm coming in. See if I can get my light to work. If we're filming each other filming.
Perfect. It's filming Inception.
Okay, let's see here. How do I... There we go. Now let's see what I can do. I just bought this light. There, that's a little better. Okay.
All right.
Let's check it out. Underground with Brent Underwood.
Let's do it.
So this is like maybe 5 feet high, 4 feet wide. It was not set up for any mechanized equipment.
No.
There's no rails.
They took the rails out, yeah.
They took the rails out, okay.
You can see like kind of where there used to be the wood.
Oh yeah, the cross members there for the track.
And it does open up, so we're not gonna have to dump like this the whole way. It'll open up here in a second.
Yeah. And so this was done after the discovery, obviously, but this was to access some of the lower workings more easily.
Yeah, there was a big deposit over here that they stoped out, created this massive room.
Uh-huh.
And I believe they're trying to get to there, and then they're trying to connect to some of the lower levels of the mine.
Okay.
So there's one.
Oh yeah, so they were just, and that rail was probably so valuable that once they were done up here,
I think they ripped it all out.
they moved it. This is actually in really good shape.
Yeah, it's sticking together pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go this way.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a little bit of acrobatics and stuff.
Sure.
But, I've been over it a few times. It wasn't too bad.
Says I've been over it a few times.
Famous last
Do you weigh more than me? I think I'm the heavier one here.
Famous last I've been over it a few times. And this is gonna be like a kind of start this way, jump that way type situation.
A little shimmy and a jump.
Yeah.
You got it. Whew.
All right.
So far, so good.
Yep. And then this is kind of where the stope starts. As you get in here, I'll get a bigger light to show it.
Whoa. Yeah, we don't have enough light to show the whole stope. That's pretty wild. Okay. So, Brent, what are we doing under here? Are we...
So the hope is to find some more galena, because that was the main mineral that they were trying to find here. And in the past, I found a lot of galena on the floor here.
Uh-huh.
And there's some veins still, if you start looking around, that they didn't quite get. And I'm hoping to collect enough of the galena to maybe make a small batch of, pure Cerro Gordo ore. It would be kind of fun.
Cool.
So I'll lead to the last spot I found any.
Okay.
Let's see if there's any more around. And if not, I know where there's another place where it's still in the wall we can look at too.
So I don't know if we can see what you got. Just a big open stope. Zero ground control, so it's just no stalls, no lagging, no nothing. Just in a big hole.
It's terrifying, honestly.
Well, not the it's a fine place to be.
Yes.
I wouldn't want to be in here with a big sledgehammer banging on the walls, but
No.
so it looks like a lot of the host rock here is some type of marble or dirty marble, like a calcite looking stuff. Whereas, you know, the gold mines that I'm used to are usually hosted with quartz veins.
Right.
Whereas this is a little bit different mineralogy, which is cool.
Yeah. If you look up there, you can see some of their old
Oh yeah.
ways of keeping it up, I guess.
So those old wooden boards or timbers, I guess what you call them, those are called stalls. And so they would stall up the ceiling, and then any boards would be called lagging. And on narrower veins, and kind of what they were doing up there is they would stall between the hanging wall and the footwall, and they put lagging across, and they could stand on them, kind of making their own scaffolding, essentially, to work off of. But I'm assuming, I don't know, I just walked in here, but I'm assuming they stoped this down.
So it started up there?
They probably started, can you get in? Is that an access up there?
Not that I found.
Okay. But the stope is so big that I don't know how you'd work up on it.
Right.
And there's an underhand stoping and an overhand stoping. And I think overhand stoping is when you work up from underneath. And you're drilling overhand. And then underhand is when you're drilling down.
Okay.
Maybe I got that mixed up. YouTube audience is going to tell us if I screwed that up, but oh yeah.
This is like, there's a tiny bit in there, you know, right?
Oh yeah.
This is not a lot. There's a lot of waste rock in that, but this is, usually when I'm wandering around, I just find that's not it. And there's a tiny, tiny, tiny piece. But.
Sure. And so we're looking for, obviously the shiny stuff.
And the weight is what gives it away to me. You know, I pick one up, I'm like, that's heavier than it should be.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So like, what do we got here? That looks like, but that's kind of shiny.
Right.
I saw the flicker, but it doesn't weigh anything.
Right.
It's not very heavy. I wonder if we can find any up in the face there somewhere.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't want to get too crazy, but
We're here.
Yeah, right. That's right. Because I'm really interested to see what the veins or the deposit looked like. And they probably wouldn't have left a lot.
Right.
But you can see the old, I don't know if you can see in the light, but the old beds of calcite laying in here. That's pretty cool. So I don't know if typically in these marble deposits or calcium carbonate deposits are called skarns.
Okay.
And the fluids would come in. I'm talking a little bit out of school here, but the fluids would come in, the hot fluids with a lot of the metals, and they'd react with the marble and deposit out the base metals, the precious metals. But yeah, it's just this is quite the place here. Yeah, wow. It's like I don't even know. I'm not even quite sure what I'm looking for yet.
Yeah, what I've seen before is like fairly narrow little, glittery lines through the wall.
Little like stringers.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I've seen.
Okay. Well, this is kind of where the structure comes down here. It looks like they mined all along this structure. So let's go take a look over here and see what we can find. Boy, there's a lot of rock ready to fall off the wall here.
Yeah. Very loose, kind of hanging.
Yeah.
There's like sawdust, from how they were packing the dynamite.
Oh, yeah. I think that's called stemming.
Is that what it is?
I think so. Yeah, they would stem. Yeah.
So yeah, it was.
But yeah, so there's little dynamite rooms all over the place then, huh? Where
Yeah,
they were.
tons of them in the mines, and the giveaway for me is always the door,
Oh,
the creating the door, the frame, and then the sawdust.
Sure.
Get back in there.
Yeah, sure. And you've been back all through these.
This one pretty good. There's an area over here that goes down. I haven't roped down it yet. I think when I started exploring the mines, I took the low-hanging fruit first, the easy ones.
Yeah.
Now it's just areas of the mine that take a descent or ascent are the last ones for me to kind of check out. There's more of the malachite or azurite.
Yeah, that's probably some azurite there. And if my mineralogy serves me correctly, it's a copper carbonate mineral. And so that's, when the sulfides and the water react and then you have probably a lot of dissolved carbonate in the water from all the marble around. Mm-hmm. It reacts and makes that azurite and malachite. Nice. Yeah, they're really beautiful minerals.
Yeah, there's a big wall of it over here that I want to show you. But,
okay.
That one was...
But this mine never produced any copper though, right?
Not from my understanding, no.
Yeah.
Half of it is remembering where
I know. Yeah, a little pocket. Yeah, that's exactly. And so, if you were talking about this area had some gold associated with it, I would very much expect it's associated with this copper mineralization.
Oh, nice. Yeah, well, back here, this is it. I remember now. I don't know what this is. Maybe you'll have a better idea than I do. But, see up there. See that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
It's weird because, it's pretty hard rock out there, but when we get back here, it's almost clay.
Yeah, yep. And so a lot of times, and I don't know what's exactly going on here, but you'll get a lot of clay and a lot of mineralization in fault zones. Mm. And the clay is it's called fault gouge. Mm-hmm. And it's where, the rock has been sliding back and forth against each other, essentially grinding it to dust. And then it reacts with the water and it turns into gooey. I mean, like you can see in this, even this thing, you can form it into a ball, and it's just kind of clay fault gouge stuff. So, but so the fault gouge makes it pretty dangerous because there's nothing holding the rock together, but it's also where all the minerals usually are for. So it's a double-edged sword.
Right.
But yeah, man, these guys were just in here. I mean, going wherever they were literally chasing this. I mean, now nowadays mines are they've drilled them, they've sampled them, they know exactly where all the ore bodies. These guys were just like, this looks good over here. Oh, let's go back over this way. Yeah.
And sometimes I'll show you over there. Like, it seems like sometimes they would find a vein, they would just follow it up. They would follow it in these meandering routes. Around, which is kind of cool to see.
It's very very like hand to mouth. It was they were just every shot was a new exciting adventure, Well, what's back here? Yeah, what's behind over here? Okay, Brent, where are we at now?
So we're over on the backside of the property, and we're at the Newtown mine. And this is part of the collective area known as Cerro Gordo. But this specific mine was a big mine to stay. This collection of fencing that you see protects you from falling down a 300-foot vertical hole.
Okay.
And back in the day, there was a hoist here. So they had a building, a whole hoist to operate. You can see kind of the waste rock they were throwing off. Apparently the hoist they had here, because it didn't have electric, it was one where the horse would walk in circles and bring up the buckets.
No way.
So there used to be like a horse ring, I think right over there that's filled in. Yeah, this, if we were to remove the fencing, that just drops straight 300 feet down.
Wow.
And so
you haven't been down that one yet?
I haven't done that one.
Oh, you have?
That's like where I cut my teeth as far as rappelling. It was such like a interesting mine to me. And I know nobody had been down there that I pulled a truck up to here, tied off to the truck.
Oh yeah.
And then went down. And going down's fun. Going back up is not fun.
Sure. It's a lot of work.
We're gonna go to what's called the Lower Newtown mine, and we just opened up the Lower Newtown mine. When Dave Sparks was here, we used an excavator to open it up for the first time in a very long time. And in there's a stope that they kind of like this, and there's still galena in the ceiling. And I'm hoping that we can get out some of that galena to maybe refine that.
Cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So we're going in here. And you guys just opened this up.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, Dave Sparks came in with an excavator, and he drove it all the way from town, which is crazy terrain to go over. And you see how much dirt we had to dig out, maybe 20 feet of collapse over the years it's fallen in. And so this hasn't been opened up in maybe 100 years.
Yeah.
And then we went in there and just started looking around, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Dave is the guy that helped you redo the hotel.
Dave's the guy that helped pour the foundation, and then he had an extra day, and we had the equipment up here. He's like, "Hey, anything you want to do?" I was like, "You want to open up some mines?"
Yeah.
I was like, all right, let's do it.
Cool.
And,
big shout out to Dave.
yeah, shout out Dave.
Yeah.
Thank you. You made this accessible for the first time in a really long time, and now we're gonna get some galena out of it.
We're gonna go get some galena. Yeah. We'll have to give Dave half.
Yeah. It's pretty treacherous, as you can see. This is
Yeah. And so you're thinking back in the day, this was like cribbed out to here somewhere.
So that's what the giveaway was. I saw some old rock cribbing out to here.
Uh-huh.
And there's actually track. I don't know where the track is now. There's track poking out of this.
Okay.
And so then there's definitely a mine there. But you can see, like, it was way below where we were.
Yeah, no.
Having to dig out a lot to get there.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like the anticipation building, you know, waiting, and then finally the portal reveals itself, and you're like, all right, we're in.
Yeah, cool. All right. And this is the second Newtown mine, or the
Lower Newtown.
Lower Newtown?
Yep.
Oh, these tracks are cool. This is I've seen this where they were like real cheap miners.
Yep.
Where they put down wood rail and then this little tiny
Strip
of metal on top. Yeah. So they didn't have the big budget of the
Right.
Union mine, but it worked.
They were trying to make it work. Yeah.
Yeah. Coming? Yeah.
So this, there's a. Stuff.
Oh yeah, look at that.
He fell in, I think, from a ventilation shaft.
It's a dead fox or a possum or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Got trapped in.
yeah.
So that could be like 100 years old.
Yeah.
This fox.
Preserved.
Yeah.
It's pretty short down here. Maybe to your point, because they didn't have the resources, they didn't mine as tall of tunnels.
Yeah, it may have been hand dug back in the day.
Yeah. Old stuff.
You all right?
I think so.
So this is gonna get a little.
Technical?
Yeah. It's not terrible. But we want ideally right above where that ladder is. There's striations of galena.
Okay.
And so if you want, I'll kind of go first to show the way a little bit,
Sure.
and then just obviously try to be a little delicate because we don't want all of this collapsing.
So it goes down the ladder and then down a shaft?
It goes kind of horizontal, so we're not going to go down. It does go vertical eventually,
Okay.
but for right now, I think they're just following the ore body down like this, and then they left some in the ceiling basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got to go try and get that.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I don't know. That was pretty sketch, Brent.
Think a bad idea?
I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, actually, how about this?
You got some right in there
Let's stop
somewhere?
right here, yeah. Right there, there's a little bit.
Okay.
I'll at least
Yeah. I can get down there.
Yeah, I think we stop here though.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So I usually have rope and stuff. So.
Yeah. Don't want to end up like the fox.
Yeah, no, do not. So you can see
Oh, yeah, there we go. That's nice stuff there.
So that is kind of, I think they're trying to scrape it all the way down.
Uh-huh.
But we'll get a little bit out there, then we'll get a lot more back by the Union. And yeah, you can see them just doing whatever they could do.
Yeah, that's cool. Man, it is just, I mean, coming from the Northwest where our ladders wouldn't last 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And yours are 150 years old and they look perfect.
Yep.
I mean, it's crazy. All the stalls
And
are,
then,
you know.
Even like the lumber, like hand hewn. You see how many chops it took them to do that?
Yeah.
Like just like, because they didn't have like milled stuff. I probably when they were starting it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you want me to try to take out a little bit?
Yeah,
of that?
let's go wild. We should have brought like a little pan or something to chip into.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me try not to fall at the same time.
But it's like, I mean, you know, the wedges are still perfect and the nails are good.
Right, just because of the temperature of it in here, you know?
Yeah, no humidity. I mean, these stalls are holding up all this rock over our head, but well, there you go. Let's see, can we do like something like that? How soft is it? It's pretty soft. Okay, we're done. But we mind.
We did what we came to do.
Oh, you can smell it.
Yeah, probably not the best thing, hey?
Oh, I mean, it's, you know, if you're going to do it for 20 years, probably not. But
right.
For 20 minutes, probably isn't too bad.
Right. Almost looks like someone's trying to get out. You see that? Like almost like an old chisel bit there.
Yeah.
It's like they were trying to.
Do we have anything to put it in? Boy, a couple of guys did not come prepared, did we?
Miners here.
Let's go get some Galena. All right, now what? There we go, getting out the big guns. I got that big hammer in my loop here too.
All right.
Get some of this up. Oh yeah, we're pros. Yeah.
It might be easier to get some back.
Here we could put it.
Brian knows how to get it.
Probably put it in the hat here. Oh wait, but that's my light. Well, that's okay.
So I mean, it is.
Sure.
This might not be the place to mine from.
Yeah. I wonder if it's easier to just go in. Can you find on the dumps, you're saying?
Yeah, let's get it. I think we can get a bunch out of the tailings.
Okay, let's do
Tens
that.
of pounds, yeah.
Yeah. So this is our experiment to come mine in silver.
This is to show where we're getting it from.
There you go. This is what it would look like if you were to come underground and mine it.
And now we're gonna get out of a dump.
Yeah, exactly. All the work's done for us. I'm gonna dump this out, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Get all the lead out of my hat. A couple of rookies here, huh? we just do this on YouTube.
Yeah.
This is
What are you talking about?
yeah. Okay. Get out of here without killing you.
You said up in Washington, all this wood would have been rotting through.
Oh, so gone? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. There were ladders in our mine. There were ladders that they put in the 80s.
Yeah.
And in the mid 90s, we came back and they were all rotted.
Right.
You go in there and it's just every rock is dripping wet.
Right.
Yeah, see, it's all that just that like black marble we saw up above.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. So this is where a drill hole was.
Yeah.
And this is the blast that shattered the rock out of the hole.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat.
That's why.
Yeah, radiated out from the. There's another one right there on your left. up about shoulder height.
Oh wow, I never knew that.
Yeah. And this one you can even see the hole coming down.
Right.
And that looks more like a single or double jack, smaller hole than we saw earlier.
Yeah.
But they would drill down here by hand, and then when they shot it, it just radiated all the
See that pattern.
the spiders.
Yeah, I see that pattern.
That's cool.
So it's kind of interesting to like see that this then probably was a comparatively lower budget operation than the Union Mine.
I mean, from the rail to the hand steel and stuff, yeah, I would think it's a little bit. They were pinching pennies more.
Yeah.
I mean, I would guess. But and I mean, again, we haven't seen the whole mine, but I haven't seen anything. There's no big stopes like we saw up at the Union Mine.
Yeah. I think they're using those wedges more just to prevent that from falling.
Jeez, yeah. Just bad ground. Whew. So like, yeah, they were just like they got here, and they chased. So this is like a fault surface right here,
Yeah.
and this little tiny seam.
That's what they're going
That's what they were chasing, and they got back here, 2 or 3 rounds, and they didn't like it. But I mean, they would go after just little tiny
pockets.
things, yeah. And I mean, this could have been a situation where they claimed as close as they could
Yeah.
to the Union Mine, and then they just started drilling.
Right.
Yeah,
Assuming.
Yeah, like there's got to be something good back here.
Maybe they use that as like their sales pitch to their investors. Like we're right next door to the Union Mine.
Absolutely. Oh, and there was so much of that, fundraising and the selling the sizzle and all that when back at San Francisco and LA and all these boom towns and
Yeah.
I mean it was just yeah.
They feel like taking out the rock.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just cribbed up there with rock.
It's at the end of the line. Much smaller.
Yeah, these poor boys.
Yeah.
They didn't make it here.
Didn't pay off very high.
No. Yeah, and like your point earlier, like why was it here?
Yeah, why give up now?
Yeah. Or I mean,
Or why continue?
Or why continue this
Yeah.
far? Yeah. Did they just run out of money?
Yeah, who made the call?
Yeah. They went to the general store and they didn't have any more credit.
Yeah. It's the end of this mine.
Well, we're kind of striking out underground, so we're gonna work up this dump pile a little bit and see if we can find some galena here, and see if we can find down to some lead and silver. There's a pretty nice little piece. See all the galena in there, and that whole black band right across there is all galena. So that's what the miners were looking for. And that's where all the silver is. Look at that piece right there. Oh, that's a good piece. Got that one broken up. It looks like junk on the outside, but that black gives it away. And yeah, that's a good, nice and heavy too. Good piece. So Brent, can you tell me in 20 seconds what you're about to go do?
Yes, I'm hoping to go find the Union chimney here at Cerro Gordo. So the two main ore bodies that they were mining was the Union chimney and the Jefferson chimney. And in between, they sank this shaft. And so for the longest time, those two have been big question marks. But we found the Jefferson chimney a number of weeks ago, and now I'm trying to find the Union. So to do that, you can take this hoist down to the 400 level, and then take ladders down to the 550 level, and then take rope beyond that. And so it's a little bit of a mix of this, that, and the other. And so I've gotten to the last time we went down, found this massive hole. I don't know where the hole goes, but I kind of want to confirm that it is the Union chimney, like the
Okay.
body, because because that would allow me to get behind any collapses that previously we were in front of with the chimney like that or the shaft like this.
Gotcha.
So going down there, the big part about it was like just finding the way to it. But we figured that out last time, so we should be able to very quickly get back to that hole.
Okay.
And then determine whether it's that or not.
Yeah.
And then coming back up because that'll be a whole other adventure.
Yeah. So you're gonna go? Are you gonna go all the way to the bottom of the Union, or just
No,
confirm that it's
just to confirm that
Yeah.
it's there, and then determine how much rope we'll need in the future.
okay?
Because right now we're bringing down
You're gonna need 150.
about 400 feet of rope,
Okay.
and we'll probably need more than that.
Yeah.
So it's just a exploratory mission. You know, they used to do the little exploratory add-ins.
Yeah. There you go.
This is our
This is your exploratory mission.
Yeah.
Well, I'll watch you go down the skip there and
Yeah.
wave.
Yeah.
I'll wave to you as you're going down. Cool. Let me get another shot of that little hoist there, because that's just, you got to fit you and all your gear in that. And how this goes down 600 feet, Brent?
900 feet.
900. It'll go all the way to the bottom.
Yeah.
Wow.
That.
How long are we going? How long are you going? 2 hours. No.
I don't know. I've never been.
1.
2 hours.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck.
For more for
Wow.
1 hour. What is it?
3 hours.
3 hours. Brent?
Oh.
Ow! Did we confirm what the time was? Hey, what's the time?
Where's the light?
I have a light. You want to know the time?
2 hours.
Two.
2?
Yep.
2. Jason, if you want to go up and look down the cable from the head.
Oh, you can get up on the ladder?
Yeah, you can look down the cable from the head wheel at the shaft.
Ooh. What are they lubing up the rails as they go?
Yeah. We're trying it.
Is there ladders up there, or is it just?
So you can, if you come on this side, you can see the manhole and
Okay.
the ladder that goes all the way down. So right here is the manhole entrance.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, and I see the ladder going right down the side.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So you could climb up.
They've rappelled down before, or Johnny has.
I think, yeah.
Hey, so Brian's letting us down faster than usual. What I do, just keep an eye on the cable. I want to make sure that there's no slack as we're going down because the dog ears will engage and might become stuck.
Copy that. Keeping my eye on the cable.
So this is fast, huh?
Not really. It'll take about 30 minutes for them to get there.
No, it was 23 minutes when I went down. We were going Johnny speed. This is going to be like 18.
Damn.
Yeah, this is what you can see when you're in there.
Oh yeah. And just a hole.
Yeah. And then you get off at the levels, you know.
Wow. And there used to be bells, or there used to be a wire.
There, yeah, you can see the evidence of the wires and stuff.
Okay.
Fucking found this Rat King of fuses and blasting caps
Oh yeah.
wrapped up in one of the drift. I took a bunch of pictures because it's hard to do photography on the ground.
Wild.
Hey, did Brett complain about the dynamite bag incident? He didn't say anything.
anxiety. You are giving Johnny anxiety. I am? Yeah, slow down. I've got the radio right here. I didn't hear anything. No, I mean, you guys not funny. That's to get close up study. Is that better?
Yeah. Oh, it's hot up here.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Come and stand here like this on the corner. You only get to drop something one time doing this.
Whoa, you're looking right. There's the head pulley. And there it goes down the hole. Johnny and Brent are down there somewhere.
Cable weighs 2.2 pounds per foot.
2.2 pounds per foot.
Yeah, that's what the cable weighs.
And there's 1,000 feet of it.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's a frickin' miracle this all still works.
They built stuff to last. Everything's made of iron.
Well, and there's no moisture to rust it all shut or...
Yeah. It's been operated over the years. Like Brent said, Bowden went down in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
So, there's graffiti down there from the 1970s, like Geological Survey and
Oh, yeah.
things like that. So carbide graffiti from the 70s.
Yeah.
Beer cans from the 70s. Dr. Pepper cans from the 80s.
Uh-huh.
D-cell batteries from when people carried those big dolphin torches.
Yeah. So people have been going down for a long time.
Yeah.
Huh. That's wild.
Much work. And that much weight.
There they're coming back up. How long have they been down? 3 hours?
Yeah,
About 3 hours?
With travel time approaching 4.
Yeah. And this thing goes a foot a second or so?
About
Kind of what we're thinking?
5 minutes for every 100 feet.
Okay. And that cable weighs 2.2 pounds a foot.
Yeah. So 900 feet.
Yeah, almost a ton of cable.
Then the whole spool is cast iron. The head wheel's cast iron. The bull wheel's cast iron. The gears are all iron.
Yeah.
They look like miners.
Hey!
We are miners. We're bringing up a bunch of ore.
Yeah. I
Nice.
We need ore. Jason, we got the ore.
You got ore?
We got probably 100 pounds.
Love it.
And we got what we needed.
Yeah.
I'll ship that off to you and you can take it from there.
Cool.
Wait. Want I have a say in some of that?
It's like
Yeah.
ball shot back in the day. No saying.
You guys going halvesies or what?
I want a ring.
It's pretty high here.
Scotty, that's the wheel, you know. That's half the distance of the wheel.
Wow.
To that's the axle dropping that oil.
Huh.
So,
Did you have to mine it or did you pick it up?
We
Don't forget
mined
to
it out of
thumb
the
us
wall
You
with
did.
the roto hammer.
Nice.
I hope you were wearing that in 95.
It was.
Oh boy.
The whole time.
Yo, get out of his way so we can see.
Emerge.
Right. All the way and stop.
Nice.
Yeah, this is fresh from the mine.
Fresh from the mine. Oh, show us what you got here.
We got a whole bunch of Galena. Pick up the bucket.
Is it just... Oh, yeah. What does that weigh? 60, 80 pounds?
Probably. It's pretty good.
Freshly mined.
Yep.
Cerro Gordo silver.
That's it. That's the stuff.
Nice.
Still on the signs now.
Yes, I am.
Look at all that good stuff.
We made it. And we needed Galena, and we made it happen.
Yeah, you got some good stuff there. Did you get that big old rock you were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Johnny didn't like that part.
All of it was pretty. That's not. There's a bunch in the backpack still too. You know, we did more modern mining. You know, this
Yeah.
helped out a lot. We got it done. Look at there.
Oh, yeah. Get his ropes and stuff out of the way. It was a successful trip then.
It was successful. Yeah, we needed that.
Whoa.
Holy!
There we go. $200 rock.
Yeah, that's a lot. There's still a lot more. There's some of the nicer pieces that pulled out, so I can see.
Oh, yeah. This is way better than picking it up off the dump.
Yeah.
You just go down there for a couple hours and bring me back stuff.
Go down there and bring it back
You're
up.
gonna need sunscreen.
I also found 15 drill bits. So a bunch of those.
I did, yeah, I got 100.
Bunch of little star bits.
Gas meters.
Oh, yeah.
Whole bunch of.
So how wide are the veins you were mining this out of? Like inches or?
Yeah, just inches, and it was in the face, and so it was all just in a pocket. But it was around, like that rusty-looking irony stuff that we were looking at.
Oh, yeah,
All
yeah.
around that. And that stuff is really brittle, so
Mhm.
you just crush that out of there, and then just this was coming out pretty good. Hey, you know, stealing my ore.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of.
Cool.
Yeah, there's an old bag that disintegrated, but it'd all be in it.
These are like brand new. Or they
Yeah.
were just sharpened. See the striations where they put them in the grinder?
Yeah. See, I came up with a bunch of those, and then a bunch of Galena.
Sweet. These are tell me about these.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. They're down there.
Rubbers.
Yeah. More modern thing, but then I found that was some random shirt, but I found some pants again. I'm always looking for the Levi's, and I can't identify the buttons because they're too rusted. But if I could maybe put them in some solution, we'll see. You know what they were about. Wild.
It's some kind of shirt, huh?
Yeah, I think so. What are you doing?
I want to see how much. I want to weigh it.
Taking all my ore.
What?
Migrating.
Hey, I know.
He does have a thing for Galena now.
All of a sudden, now I make it.
Before it was like, yeah, whatever, get that crap out of here. Now he's like,
Now he wants to go all the Galena.
This is high grade, dude.
It is. It's good stuff.
Yeah, we'll get all this stuff up there too. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So we're standing next to one of the refining smelters here at Cerro Gordo, and Brent was telling me that in the early days, they used to refine some of the lead and the silver here on site. And I'm not an expert in what this is. I've seen some old diagrams, but I think this is some sort of refining hearth here. And what I think they used to do is build a fire, get a fire going, and load the ore into like a hearth type of thing, and the fire would heat it up and it would oxidize the ore and it would get hot enough even to melt it. And I don't know if they loaded it down from the top of this huge chimney here behind me, but I've seen diagrams where, you know, they'd have this big tall chimney like this, and they'd load the ore down the top, and then once it was all molten, they would tap the bottom of the chimney, and the metal would come running out the bottom. I've also seen them where there's big, long, kind of adobe-shaped things where they would put the ore in these kind of bins in the furnace, and they'd tap the bottom of the bin. So I'm not really sure what was going on here, but I thought it was pretty interesting. Thought you guys might be interested. And if there's anybody out there that knows, you know, kind of what was going on here, maybe leave a comment in the comment section so we can kind of piece together what we have here. But while we're here, there's a bunch of piles of slag around, and I wanted to collect some slag and get it assayed and figure out, you know, how efficient they were at refining, but then also take it back to our shop and maybe crush it and run on the shaker table or re-smelt it and see if we can get any more metal out of it. So now we're standing just uphill from that chimney we saw earlier, and this is kind of a situation here where I think they may have had a big hearth here. This might be one of the walls. The other wall over here I think may have been destroyed. But I think they used to pile the ore in here and refine it in this hearth. And you can see up the hill all the red stone. It's not brick, it's stone that's turned red. And I think they used to kind of push the exhaust from these hearths up these stone chimneys up the side of the hill, so all the sulfur dioxide and all the stuff from the refining could get up and away from the workers. But it was kind of cool. They angled it up the hill, they buried it, and then up there somewhere, I'm assuming it opens up, and that's where the exhaust flue was. And here's you can see the slag and stuff on these bricks. So I think there was some sort of refining going on in this chimney, and they may have tapped the slag out here and had the slag or the metal run out here. I'm not quite sure, but they were doing something in here where they were refining the ore, and so we're going to go look for some of the slag piles and see if we can get those, some samples of those. So here's some of the slag we're after, and it looks like just, you know, black volcanic looking slag. And there's a little pile here we'll collect. There's several piles spread around, so we'll go and collect a little bit from a bunch of different piles. But I would expect if they were doing a huge amount of refining here, there'd be mountains and mountains of slag, and I just don't see that. So I don't know if they dumped it in the wash and it got washed away, or they just didn't do very much here and they shipped a bunch of the raw ore down, or this one wasn't used very often. So I'm not sure, but we'll get some of this slag here. It's pretty heavy, it's pretty dense, so that's kind of a good sign if we're going to look for more metals to pull out of it. But we'll go through and we'll collect, 50 pounds or so in this bucket, and then we'll get it back and we'll see what we can get out of it. It's all pretty small. It's like it got crushed up or something. But yeah, I mean, that looks like mat. That's heavy. I don't know. Throw it in the crusher. But like this is actually pretty interesting. This is let me show you up close. So this is some real glassy slag, so it's really acidic, and it hardly weighs anything. It's not very dense at all. And then this stuff here is really heavy, it's dense, and it's kind of that stony looking stuff. Here's a piece where you can see the slag and some of that stony stuff together. So I don't know if this denser stuff is actually matte and there's a little bit of slag on top or what, but if that's matte, that's a good sign there may be quite a bit more metal in this stuff that's still there to be had. I mean, that's a big heavy rock there, or a big heavy piece of slag. All right, so we've done our exploration.
Yes.
We've gone down in the mines, and we've got 3 different piles here. Can you tell us a little bit about what each pile is?
Yes. So this is from the slag. I believe that is from the Victor Beaudry smelter down there.
Okay.
And so this still has a lot of weight to it. So it still seems like there's something in there.
Yeah.
I imagine technology has advanced quite a bit in the last 150 years.
Yeah.
So they might not have gotten all of the silver and lead out of there. So maybe we can get something out of there.
Yeah.
This pile is from the waste rock, just outside the Union Mine.
Yeah.
You were up there yesterday digging around and came across that. So
I was just up walking around on the dumps, and I was actually quite amazed at how little ore there's in the dumps. Most of the time you go and there's quartz or ore laying all over, but these guys separated out really, really well. But I did find a few pieces, so we got some stuff from the dumps, and then you got this pile.
And then this was down from the 400 level of the Union Mine.
Okay.
Rope down there, and came across a really big pocket, and I had a roto hammer with me, so just drilled it out of the wall.
Yeah.
And it looks, just super.
Yeah, it's
shiny.
It's amazing.
And,
just solid galena in this piece, and a lot of these pieces you can tell by the weight.
Yeah.
You can't. I mean, the viewers won't know, but they're
heavy.
really heavy.
Yeah, I think the total haul was something like 110 pounds.
Yeah.
So we got quite a bit that I'll be packing up and sending your way.
Yeah, and that was something that I didn't go down with you. That was you and one of your volunteers went down, and so to see that whole adventure, you're gonna have to check out Brent's channel. But we do have our samples, and so the plan is we'll box them up, bag them up, and we're just gonna mail them back to me. It's U.S. Flat rate boxes. It's super cheap. They'll hold a bunch of weight.
If it fits, it ships.
If it fits, it ships. So now we're plugging the U.S. Postal Service.
Right.
So that's the plan, and hopefully we can get some of this up there. I'll play around with it, and we'll get some silver out for
I'm
you.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me today. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. You can find our contact information in the description below. And if you have any questions or comments, you can also leave them in the comment section. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.